3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 ring for the dark lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie, 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all and in the darkness bind them, in the lands of Mordor where the shadows lie. Hi guys, my name is David. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. And if you have been watching my channel for a while now, welcome back. So today I am going to be reviewing The Two Towers by JRR Tolkien. This is book 2 in his Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I read this as part of the Readathon I am hosting and taking part in, called a Bookworm's New Year Readathon. And the prompts that this book fulfills is 2 prompts. I doubled up on this book. And these prompts that this book covers are: read a physical book, left unread the longest. I've had this book in my room for God knows how long. And, where is it? Read a book you are intimidated by. Even though this isn't a long book, this is about 430-ish pages. Yep, 439 pages to be exact. So it's not a long book, but the subject and the story does intimidate me and other people, so it covered both them prompts really well. So I will put a picture up here of the bingo cards that I am currently working on, and I have 3 in a row, which means I have a bingo. And I'm still currently working on completing more prompts, as I am not going to currently stop now, although I technically could stop, but I am going to be continually doing more prompts in this readathon. And I did read the Fellowship of the Ring. Obviously I did it as part of a buddy read and a collaboration with Kayla Lenzen. I will put a picture up here and the link will be down below. It was a really it was a really interesting and fun experience for me, as I like doing buddy reads, and The Lord of the Rings was a very enjoyable buddy read for me to do with Kayla. Although she did enjoy the book as a whole, I don't really think that she appreciated it as much as I do, or did, or whatever. And last year I wanted to go straight on to The Two Towers and The Return of the King, and but I wanted to wait for her to give me the word saying, right, I'm all ready to go, let's do this thing. But that never really came to be, and at the end of last year, in 2020, she told me that she had listened to half of The Two Towers on audio. I'm not exactly sure about where exactly she left off, but she decided that she didn't want to continue doing this buddy reads, which was fine. I was under the assumption that we were going to be doing a buddy read and collaboration on the entire, on the entire trilogy, but because she said that she didn't like The Two Towers and she found it boring, well, I don't really know if boring is the word, but it wasn't really her cup of tea. So I didn't really want to force her to read something that she wasn't going to enjoy. So, like the Fellowship in the first book, our collaboration kind of split up, But yeah, this was a really fun read for me, and I would have liked to continue doing this buddy read with her, but as I said, I didn't want to force her to. So The Two Towers was originally published on the 11th of November 1954. It was about 4 or 5 months after The Fellowship was published. And this was a really, really fun book for me to actually read. It really was. I know that a lot of people have probably watched the movie already by Peter Jackson, which was fantastic. But people may be intimidated to read The Lord of the Rings, and I am here to tell you that you shouldn't be intimidated by this book. So in this section of this video, I usually say that this is going to be a spoiler-free video, but because this book is about like 60 or 70 years old, and people have either read it or or if they haven't read this book, they have definitely watched the movie. I am not going to mention any major spoilers, but I may mention minor spoilers. But again, it's nothing to worry about. It's nothing that will spoil the overall story of the book. And because this is book 2 in the trilogy, I may be mentioning events that happened in the first book. And also, as always, this is going to be my own thoughts and opinions regarding this novel. So, like the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, that was split up into 2 books, book 1 and book 2. And this one follows exactly the same structure as it continues on and it has book 3 and book 4. As I show you there, see, book 3 and book 4. Book 3, which starts off the novel, focuses around characters such as Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Gandalf, Saruman, and Merry and Pippin, and also the Ents, which I'll mention in a minute. And but Frodo and Sam are kind of mentioned very, very briefly, but they do not make an appearance in book 3 at all, but they are mentioned briefly. In book 4, that is where Sam and Frodo and Gollum / Smeagol, that's their part of the book. And like book 3, Aragorn and especially Gandalf are mentioned as well, but I will mention more of that in more detail. So the book starts off straight off where book 1 actually left off straight away. It actually shows us about how Boromir was currently fighting off orcs to protect Merry and Pippin, and I think they done this because at the end of book 1 he was tempted by the ring and he wanted to take it away from Frodo, and I think that he was overcome with so much guilt and remorse and sadness about doing this. He wanted to protect Merry and Pippin, but in doing so he got killed by orcs. He got loads of arrows shot by him, and Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas put his body into a boat. All the swords and weapons that were his and were weapons from orcs that he actually killed were put near him in this boat with great respect, and he was sent over a waterfall. And because they didn't have time to give him a proper burial, they had to go. Aragorn was straight away he was split about what to actually do. He knew that Frodo and Sam had actually gone off to Mount Doom to destroy the ring in Mordor, but he also knew that the hobbits Merry and Pippin had actually been taken by a group of orcs to apparently to be taken to Isengard, to Saruman, and he was kind of split about what to actually do. He didn't know whether to go to follow Frodo or to rescue the hobbits from the orcs, and ultimately he decided to go after Merry and Pippin. And he takes Gimli the dwarf and Legolas the elf with him, and they go off and they go along the wilderness and they hunt down this group of orcs. While this actually happens, we actually come across a land in this book called Rohan. Now Rohan is got a kingdom in it which specialises in horses. They are kind of like a horse-based country, and they have great respect for their horses. And we find out that so when Aragorn's trying to track down the hobbits, they come across a forest called Fangorn. Now Fangorn is a mysterious forest. Everyone's afraid of it, and they don't really want to go into it, but they know that they have to. And when they go into it, they like see a mysterious figure, like a mysterious old man, in a cloak. They don't know who it is. They presume it's Saruman because it's white. Because I mean the robes are white. In the meantime, Merry and Pippin have escaped from the orcs. The orcs have got into a dispute about something, and they have been killed by soldiers from Rohan on their horses. And all the orcs have been killed, and Merry and Pippin have ran off into Fangorn, knowing full well that it is a mysterious and dangerous place. there they come across a unique character called Treebeard, who is an Ent. Now, if you think about Ents, like they are kind of like in human-ish form. They have legs, they have arms, they have a body, they have a head, they have a conscious, and they can speak. Although they can speak in a very slow and confused way. Well, not really confused, but they can speak in a very slow way. But they are very intelligent creatures. I actually kept on thinking about how what's his name? The character at the beginning of the first book. I can't remember his name. I will put it up here. But Tom Bombadil. That's who he was. Tom Bombadil. I was thinking that if Tom was in Fangorn and if he was around the Ents, he would be incredibly happy there. Treebeard takes Merry and Pippin, thinking that they're orcs, and they take them to like a group of Ents, and they have a discussion about what to actually do with them. And they also discuss about how Saruman has actually become evil, and he was once, when he was good, he used to be friends with the Ents and with the forest as a whole. But ever since turning evil, he has been neglecting the Ents. He hasn't seen them for ages, and he has kind of been chopping down trees, which upsets them. And this ultimately provokes them to attack Isengard and to make a stand to Saruman. And they ultimately overwhelm Saruman and Isengard by flooding it and entrapping Saruman in his tower, which has a name in the book, but I can't remember it, so apologies for that. In the meantime, Aragorn has actually come across a mysterious figure. Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli have come across a mysterious elderly man in Fangorn, and they think that, as I said, they think that it's Saruman, but it turns out to be Gandalf, which apparently they presume that died in the Mines of Moria in the first book, but he has come back. But he has come back slightly different. He's more or less Gandalf, but he's slightly different. He's no longer, he's actually no longer wearing like a grey cloak. He is white, and this indicates to me that because Saruman was the leader of the wizards and he was dressed in white, that was probably his superior colour. But because Gandalf came back and he was actually dressed in white garments, that indicates to me that the forces that be or whatever has appointed him the leader of, the new leader of the wizards. And they are kind of taken back by this. They are saying, "Oh, we actually thought that you died, but welcome back," and all that type of stuff. And they go off to the kingdom of Rohan, like I said, and they go there and they. With Gandalf, and they they come across a king that has been put under kind of like a spell that has turned him into an old man, and they go there specifically to rescue him and to lift this curse from him. They actually are. Then after that, they go off into a battle, which is the Helm's Deep battle, which is on the cover. I'm not sure if you can quite see that, but if you watched the movie, you know exactly what I mean. This is a really interesting battle between the orcs and the people of Isengard, not Isengard, of Rohan rather, and it's a really good battle really there, and that's pretty much the first book. In the second book, we actually are come across. I actually want to say that also the standout performance in book one is definitely Legolas and Gimli, because they are an elf and a dwarf, which are supposed to hate each other dramatically. Their friendship is so tight. They have a really deep respect and love and appreciation with each other. In Helm's Deep, they actually count off all the orcs that they kill. They have like a kind of like a head count about how many people they actually kill, and it's kind of like a competition between them two. And at the end of book 3, Treebeard is actually telling Legolas about how he wants him to come back to Fangorn, and he says, right, I will come back, but only if Gimli comes with me. I'm not going to come back if he doesn't come with me. And their friendship is so incredibly tight, it really is. So in book 4 we come across Frodo and Sam, which are currently trying to find their way to Mordor, but they are lost. They don't know where they're going, but they know that they are being followed by Smeagol or Gollum. They know this, they're perfectly aware about this. And then they capture him and they ask him to take them to Mordor, because he says, right, I know the way to Mordor, and he takes them to Mordor. But they are extremely suspicious of him, especially Sam, which calls him names and is extremely suspicious of him, although he wants to give Smeagol the benefit of the doubt, or Gollum. In this book, Gollum is actually called Smeagol and Gollum all the time. There's no really discerning factor between this, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. And in the movie, Frodo tells Gollum his real name, which is Smeagol, and this kind of shocks him about that, because he kind of forgot his name in the movie, I think. But in this book, Gollum is perfectly aware that his name is Smeagol. Frodo kind of has the same thought that he has in the movie. He kind of feels sorry for Gollum, but he's extremely wary and cautious about him. And ultimately, Gollum takes them to the Black Gate, which is kind of like the doorway into Mordor itself. But it's closed, it's guarded, and Gollum says, "Oh, I know a secret way into Mordor. No one knows. It was a secret way, and only I know it." So he takes them up a stairway, up on this mountain, which is pretty much horizontal, or not horizontal, vertical rather. And this takes them to a cave which is inhabited by not a very nice creature, I won't say any more. And they find out that Gollum has secret motivations, because he constantly says, oh, he doesn't want Frodo to take the ring willingly into Mordor, because he doesn't want Sauron to actually take it away from him, because to Gollum the ring is his precious, and he keeps on referring to it as his precious. He wants to take the ring away from Frodo and Sam, and that's not a secret from the reader or from Sam and Frodo, or Frodo and Sam. But they, as I said, they want to give Frodo, they actually want to give Gollum the benefit of the doubt. Frodo and Sam have a really great chemistry, especially Sam to Frodo. Sam is extremely loyal and dedicated to Frodo to an extreme degree. He even fights a big monster in this book that has probably eaten loads of orcs and men and elves, and he stands up to it and defends Frodo, knowing full well that he could possibly die. It's like a mouse to a lion. That's pretty much the book, really. I hope I've explained it alright. So the things I liked about this book, can I say the whole thing? This was a really interesting read, it really was. The characters and the descriptions that Tolkien gives Middle-earth is so rich. This is what this book is. This is rich in detail of not just the landscape, but the history of Middle-earth. Like past battles and all that type of stuff. The characters is also where it shines. Not just the relationship between Gimli and Legolas and Frodo and Sam, but also Smeagol. He is an extremely tragic character who is constantly tormented by not just a ring, but his inner self. Gollum is kind of like his evil side, and Smeagol is like his good, true self. And they are constantly battling with each other and having like conflicts with each other. And it's so tragic, him as a character, because he was once kind of like a hobbit himself, but the ring twisted and corrupted not just his body but his soul as well. And yeah, that's what I really liked about this book. I can't really explain it better than that. It's just his characters and the description that Tolkien puts into this book and it's extremely detailed. So when it comes to what I disliked about the book, Not much. I could be nitpicky as hell and say, oh, I didn't like what that person said, or I actually don't like when they actually went into this location or did this or killed this person. I'm not going to do that. But one of the aspects of this book that I didn't like is the character of Faramir. Hopefully I've said his name right. He is the brother of Boromir. I won't go into any detail about his section of the book, but in the movie and the book, they are polar opposites. In the book, he is a great character. He's an interesting character, but it was kind of like it seems more filler and a bit of padding when it came to that section. I think that's that part of the book, or that chapter of the book, could have been taken out of the story, and it wouldn't have actually taken or changed anything dramatically in the book, in my opinion. So, closing thoughts for the Two Towers. Listen, guys, I know that people are intimidated by this book, and you shouldn't be. Its size is, as I said, is about 440 pages, so lengthwise, it's the same length as an ordinary book. I think that people are intimidated by the story as a whole, and you shouldn't be, guys. You shouldn't be intimidated by this book. This book is incredibly good. If you are interested in fantasy, or if you are a fantasy fan, then I would definitely 110% pick this book up. If you're new to fantasy, or if you've never read a fantasy book before, and you don't know whether it's going to be your thing, I personally wouldn't start with Lord of the Rings. I would start off with The Hobbit, as it's kind of like a prequel to Lord of the Rings. If you like The Hobbit and Tolkien's writing style, then definitely read The Lord of the Rings. I can't wait to read The Return of the King. I will be reading it in March, but I will be reviewing it in April, because I'll be reading it at the end of March and it will go over to April. So expect that on my channel, and I cannot wait to read that. And yes, I will be reading the appendices as well. So what do I rate The Two Towers by JRR Tolkien? Let me have a think about this, guys. It's going to be quite difficult. It's a 5-star read, guys. Come on. I mean, it's The Two Towers by the Lord of the Rings by Tolkien. This is probably the easiest 5-star book that I can actually... I mean, this is the easiest book I can give 5 stars to, and this is the first novel of 2021 that has a 5-star rating by me. So 5 stars out of 5, full marks for The Two Towers. So that's it, guys. That is my review on The Two Towers by JRR Tolkien. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, let me know if you've read this, if you've enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it. It's cool if you didn't enjoy it. Let me know if you are still intimidated by this book, and we can have a discussion about it down in the comments down below. If you have read this book and you comment down below, try not to give any spoilers or anything like that. We can talk about characters like Gollum and Aragorn and Gandalf, but try not to give anything overly spoilery down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps a lot. And if you do subscribe, please click on the little bell notification just so you know whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. And I will also put a link down in the description to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads. And with all that said, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.